Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about one really interesting video happened to see yesterday. It was uploaded on Dorky Degree Dave's channel. Definitely I will leave his channel link in the description below. He has awesome channel. I'm sure most of you know about it already, but yeah, go check the video out if you haven't done so yet. It basically is kind of like a fairly short 9-minute video, I believe, where Dorky Degree Dave gets to interview Luke. Luke is executive producer in Marvel Contest of Champions. Now, it's a cool video. Basically, where they talk about these balance changes, about the things that people are kind of like upset about, and Luke seems like a great guy, for sure. He immediately goes to say that they know that they messed up with Call Obsidian. They say that people rightfully so got upset, which is kind of like a good way to put it, I suppose. And then they kind of like talk over a bit more like what the intent of these balance changes, and also the struggles of creating and balancing the champions because of the intricate web that interactions that we do have in the game with nodes, champions, synergies, so on and so forth. So it is a good watch. It is a good video. I definitely enjoyed it. I actually watched it multiple times, just kind of like to have it sink in a bit more. And I spoke with Dork as well, Dave, and I told him I want to make a video about it and I want to reference your video, and he was cool with it, so that's awesome as well from him, and definitely kind of like great sport. And so I do have like a compliment sandwich in regards to this subject right about now. So first things first, I think it is an awesome video. I think we need so much more of this. The guy, Luke, seemed like a chill guy, definitely seemed to know what he's like talking about, and he had like fairly reasonable and understandable points to make, and I enjoyed it. And that kind of put a person next to this kind of like corporate evil that we look at Kabam as, or what have you, and it was refreshing. It was cool. I wish there would be so many more of these online, and that would be the first thing that I want to talk about. They have a YouTube channel. They have a big YouTube channel. It doesn't take much to have somebody sit down with one of your developers and ask them a couple of questions and have them explain everything you feel that should be explained. One video like that could potentially replace hundreds of pages of posts and people complaining and arguing, stuff like that. A good video, a good explanation, when you look at the person explaining everything and not kind of like overthinking every single word that they write on a forum post, can mean so much more, and it is so refreshing to see. I loved it. I think we need so much more of that, and I think they are in all the right kind of place and positions in social media, on YouTube, to do that. It does not take much to sit down, record a video, and upload it. I'm doing it right now. I'm not gonna have to focus 3 months about writing a script for it or whatever. It's just you kind of talking about what you know, what you think, what you believe, and discussing things. It's not hard. It's an easy thing to do, and it would mean so much to so many of us. So definitely do encourage Kabam to do more of this on their own channel. Simple as that. It would go so much further than a couple of these posts on the forum. And also it was refreshing to see that he definitely seemed to be knowledgeable about the game, about interactions, about struggles. Also, he seemed like reasonable in a sense that in the forums that they are looking how to change Call Obsidian and perhaps give him some survivability, and that was good to hear that there might be some upsides actually from this balance change. And that was nice, and I get that, and I do like that, and I love the video. And I think people, as much as I have read in Dork's comments, are kind of like cherry picking the bits and expressions too harshly. Overall, you kind of can get them, what they are saying, where they're coming from, and that's fine. It doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with everything that they say, but I can definitely understand why they're saying the things that they are saying, or Luke in this case, and I liked it. I think he's cool. And once again, this is what we need much more of. Actual people who are in charge of these processes, who are involved in these processes, discussing them, explaining their reasoning, explaining their successes, victories, why they feel each balance change are needed. And in video form, I think it's so much perfect than some forum post. However, there are a couple of things this kind of like left me wondering about as well, because very early on in this video, Luke immediately goes like, we know we messed up with Call Obsidian. good. Admitting the mistake is like the first step. That's great. That's awesome from you to say. I'm so happy. But my question immediately is, and why haven't you done anything at all whatsoever to rectify the situation? The thread was made like 29 days ago, I believe, or something like that. I think it was 11th of September when they announced it. For 29 days, you have ignored your player base. You haven't given any kind of like information, impact, what you're thinking. Some of the stuff that you did in this video, but vaguely, because Luke didn't kind of like strictly confirm what the changes are going to be or how did they determine that it is a problem, so on and so forth. He just mentioned that there is one. However, on forums, on any other media, for 29 days, an absolute ignore on your old players. And that, however, sucks donkey bottom. I'm sorry, it's just not good enough now. Like here, a person from Kabam appears to be so understanding, so reasonable, so cool about everything, and I like that. Then my question is, where has been any kind of like sort of effort from Kabam if they know that they messed up? If they know and admit that they have made a mistake, there has been no effort to rectify the mistake. And they're largely talking not about the fact that they thought that Call Obsidian needs the change or balance change, which is what they are still adamant about, which is fair enough. They have the data. But they admit that the problem is the way they are introducing the information, the way that they're not giving more context, the way that they're not making it clear for us why that is a problem, what they're intending to do, and so on and so forth. But they still haven't done anything about it. 29 days later. This video also didn't have anything kind of specific and concrete that we could kind of rely on. And that is, I don't know, call it as you will, running away from your problems, being childish, being silly, I don't know, or simply just not giving 2 cents of a fuck about people who are upset, which it didn't appear in this video. That's why I'm so confused. Like, what are you supposed to think on like forums or any other kind of like place? There's absolutely nothing. There's complete silence. This video, the guy goes like, yeah, we know we messed up, we're kind of like sorry about it. Would it be so hard for them, for instance, to record this video or make a post saying just that? Ideally a bit more and like give us some concrete information. So I don't understand, I don't agree with the fact that Kabam has been ignoring their players for so long, especially if they know that they are the ones who caused the upset and uproar. And that is just, I don't know, that's no way how to conduct your company. And speaking of the same thing, they lack punctuality in pretty much anything. Okay, let's move on away from the fact that they have abandoned a thread that has like close to 100,000 views and like 2,000 replies in it, where Kabam has posted nothing in the last 27 days or something, nothing. Let's talk about punctuality of them. They announced that these balance changes will be kind of like considered and announced before champions enter the basic crystal pool, which has been one of the gripes about Call Obsidian, because Call Obsidian was in the basic crystals already, therefore more people pulled him, therefore more people put awakening gems in him and ranked him up because he was more readily available. And that was kind of one of the reasons given that Kabam told us that we will be making these announcements before champions enter basic hero crystal pool. Now, Namor has been in this crystal pool for over 2 weeks already, and we don't know, is he going to be balanced or not, right? So whoopsie, you slept on that one, or quite possibly they are just waiting for 2 champions to get in, so technically 1 champion would be in the basic hero crystal pool and then the second one goes in. But currently Invisible Woman already is in the basic hero crystal pool as well, and we have no information even about Namor. So I might be a bit kind of like more strict there, but I didn't make these timelines. Kabam did. That is what they said. Like, is it that much to ask that they kind of respect their own policy or timelines or set kind of like deadlines of these announcements? Because it's not like we're forcing them to follow something or do or say something that they did and then they kind of like miss on that. It's something that they set out for themselves. It's a message that they state to the players. This is going to be what we're going to be doing, and this is when we're going to be doing it. And they're still not even sticking to it. They missed basically every single month so far. I don't know. It just does not look good. It does look kind of blasé attitude, if you will. Not replying to threads, not announcing them on time. It's just kind of like que sera, sera, whatever kind of thing, right? And it's not good. Definitely that adds even more to frustration because there's absolutely no certainty. We don't know the criteria of these changes. We don't know what qualifies champion for and what doesn't. And it just seems a bit kind of all up in there. As well as the latest champion release, kind of like being as impressive as they have been. Like Elsa is Ronin 2.0 basically, I think even worse maybe. And there might be people who disagree, but that's fair enough. That's how I look at her, and all of the video footage that I have seen about Man-Thing is another nah, kind of like better than Diablo, but nothing to get too chuffed about kind of character. So these champions, like everybody is already automatically immediately kind of looking forward to the 3 months mark when you kind of expect them inevitably to add some sort of valuable utility to these champions. I don't know, it just seems currently to be in fairly silly place when it comes to new champions. Like I have absolutely no desire to chase them or invest in them with so much kind of like up in there. This video did do quite well in terms of clearing me up and kind of restoring a bit of confidence with Kabam and stuff like that. But then they need to follow it up. This is something great. This is something positive. This is somebody who's in the know, talking about reasonings and appearing to be perfectly kind of like social, reasonable, and understanding. And somebody people could relate to and somebody people understand to. And we can all know that occasionally you have to make some tough calls not everybody's gonna like, but so long as you can relate to the person, you can understand why they're doing it, it's all right. It's not the worst kind of like thing that somebody's gonna tell me we're gonna take away something from, but that is because of X, Y, and Z, and unfortunately we think that's the kind of like best. Obviously there is all this question about money and time investment and how fair it is on players, and I think it's not. I think Kabam needs to figure out some really careful plan how to compensate the players should they be downgrading any champions at all. They definitely need to put a lot of thought in it because people will freak out pretty much every single time. Because for some it might be just a random lucky crystal pull, for some it might be $1,000 month savings, birthday gift, you name it. Because the cost of acquiring champions in this game is so high, and that is exactly why it's a lot harder to do these meta changes. He constantly says that there is such an intricate web of interactions and they need to have ability to change the champions for the overall health of the game, which is fine, I agree with. But this game also has pretty much one of the higher costs of acquiring a new champion to begin with, so tread carefully there. I can get what they're saying, but at the same point I get what everybody else is putting into this game, time and money wise, not to be kind of like messed about with or have any tolerance for this blasé attitude by being ignored, by not announcing these changes on time, so on and so forth. But once again, I definitely enjoyed this video. I think it was a great thing. I think Kabam has to do more of this. I think there's pretty much unanimous kind of like voting has to be done here. And yes, I love this. I think community would love this. I think it would benefit them greatly by explaining their reasoning, their motives, their ideas, perhaps on occasion their plans, and that could be kind of like their weekly segment. We're going to be talking about this kind of actual thing coming out. But let's say when they release new content, they can have a person who was part of developing that content with what were their ideas and so on and so forth. There's so much that they can do with their YouTube and social media that they're just not. And the second bit is obviously that I just wish that they would not ignore their players. Like here they were speaking, Luke was being a cool guy speaking, and it's so much more relatable. With that silence in forums where you have 100,000 views on a page and last comment from moderator, official moderator, not counting in all the paid trolls, was 27 days ago. So for 27 days they have absolutely abandoned the thread, aside from deleting posts that they disagree with basically and censoring people. It's just so horrible. It's such a sharp contrast from what we can see here with Dave and what we can see there on the forums. I'm like quite shocked that it's the same company, that they can have like complete 180 kind of thing when they're here and there. But yeah, so I do hope somebody, Kabam, sees this video, and I do hope also that you guys agree with me that this is something that they should do. I do hope that this is something that maybe you guys can suggest and point it out in forums and tweet to them on social media or whatever. Also, do have to agree that we can be fairly judgmental. We can jump to conclusions quite quickly. We can overreact about many things, such as Call of Duty, whenever there's anything negative, right? However, in this case, whoever said like, oh, people were overreacting, I don't think it's right, because Call of Obsidian is one of, to date, most expensive characters as well. So there are so many champions, so many players who have invested so much in acquiring this champion, and any slightest change to this champion is gonna be a hot topic issue. If they were to downgrade some random champion that wasn't as hyped, thanks to CCP, just by the way, or didn't come at a time when it did because he came just in time to be used, all those generic gems from 4th of July deals and so on and so forth. So overall, because of the hype, because of everything that people put in Call, because of the appearances initially, I do believe that he's one of the more expensive champions in the game, and that is largely the reason why so many people are upset and outraged with this change, and I definitely do think it's rightfully warranted in this case. Overall, I do think we as a community do have a tendency to overreact, and occasionally we should give Kabam a bit more benefit of the doubt. It's always kind of good to listen to both sides of the story, because I have criticized them harshly, and for large part of whatever I have said, I stick to it, definitely. However, if we saw these videos, I think it would be so much easier to take these news calmly and rationally and reasonably. But anyways, these are my kind of like thoughts after watching this We Messed Up video. Luke seems like a great guy, definitely. I wish Luke would actually get more involved with the community, because he actually had some sort of form and understanding about the game. None of that all heavy attacks have same speed and cadence bullshit that we see from Mikey. So definitely applaud that. I definitely think we need more people like Luke interacting with community, and I think Kabam just needs to do more in that aspect. Use their YouTube channel, make these posts more informative, and just communicate with us. Don't ignore us, don't treat us like children, don't just kind of like drop a small announcement and disappear for 27 days. It's horrible. It feels bad just to be ignored, first of all. Second of all, it feels like you're treating us like scum who don't deserve even as much as 5 minutes of somebody jumping on a keyboard and typing up an answer. At least that's how I feel when I get to deal with Kabam forums, especially. But yeah, anyways, that's me done. I think I have rambled enough. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about Dave's video, if you watched it, or what do you think about my opinion on this issue and video. Shoot me a comment, perhaps, if you agree, if you disagree, if you looked at it in any kind of like different way or light. But that will do for today. It has been absolute pleasure making this video. I hope many of you guys see this, and so help me out. Forward it to your friends, forward it to your alliance mates. Let's kind of like revitalize this discussion, and yeah, let's see what happens with Call of Obsidian in the near future. See you guys.